I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Ha, Racha, Kodash, Mama, double honor to the elder apostles and the elders of GMS. Salutations to the sincere Akim, as pushing the truth and sincerity around the four corners of this earth. I'm the car Karab Ban Yasharala, coming out of the Lions Den camp of Yasharala here in Jacksonville, Florida. And today, I'll be coming out with a lesson, we'll say a re-edition of a lesson. And it pretty much goes into how we have many different factions, sectors, and syndicates, who push forth false information, disinformation, and different things of the sort. And it's done constantly here in this corporation, or if you want to call it a country, but it's a corporation. This is done on a constant basis. It's done all the time. And when you're in the know and you're in the truth, and the Most High has lit your candle, you now know that these factors, these factions, Salakia, sectors and syndicates, that the things that are put forth that comes from these different groups are not the truth. But without further ado, I'm gonna get right into the scriptures and let them speak for themselves. This is Psalms chapter 55. I'm gonna start at verse 20. It says, "He has put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant." And we'll say there's a certain group, or faction who have done this. They have put forth their hands against people that are at peace with them. They have broken covenants, promises, and things of the sort like that. The words are not kept, promises, treaties are not kept. They're always broken. You cannot trust. Verse 21. "The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet they are drawn swords." And this certain group or faction, their words are like, are smoother than butter. Their words sound very good. They sound like they're very helpful and beneficial. But the truth is, war is in their heart. Their words are softer than oil, yet their words are like drawn swords. Their words are dangerous. You cannot trust them. You cannot believe them because of the the falsification of information and actions. But this group, these groups, these syndicates or whatever you want to call them, they sound really good. They talk really good, but the main agenda is basically war against the inhabitants of this place, war against we'll say the world. So you cannot trust them, and that honestly, plainly put, they are liars, and you can never ever trust a liar because that liar is going to lie at some point in time, rather sooner or later. But continuing, this is John chapter 8, verse 44. It says, Salakia, here we go. John chapter 8, verse 44. It says, of course, "Ye of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it." So, right now we'll say the specific group or faction of existence, should say, and 2/3 of our people, they follow right along with this thing. They're of their father, the devil, the deceiver, the liar, and the lust of their father they will do. Well, this specific group, they are the fathers of lies. Every time they speak something from their own heart. They speak it of their own, and they're liars, and they're the father of it. You cannot trust a liar. You never ever could. People that lie, you have pathological liars and you have compulsive liars. Sometimes you have a compulsive pathological liar. But you got these factions and sectors and syndicates. This is what they push. Lies. Simple. And there are many factions and sectors and syndicates on the planet. So there is no one specific, if you could read between the lines, if you're reading the scriptures, that you could point out. But through the power and the knowledge and the spirit of Yahweh Yahushua in these scriptures, those who are in the know and those who are coming to the knowledge or still coming to the knowledge of, you know who is being spoken about. A specific group of people. But continuing. Let's go back to Psalms, chapter 21. There we go. Psalm chapter 21. I'm going to start at verse 8. This is talking about the Most High. This is a Psalm of David. And he was saying, thine hand shall find out all thine enemies. Thy right hand shall find out those that hate thee. And right now to this day, we are now starting to see that, the powers that be hate Yahweh Yahushua. They hate this truth. They try to censor this truth. They don't want it to come out. Oh, it's hate speech. It's not hate speech. It's truth. And the Most High's hand is going to find them out. And the Most High is revealing unto the world that this specific group or faction or syndicate are liars. But again, thine hand shall find out all thine enemies. Thy right hand shall find out those that hate thee. Thou shalt make them as a fiery oven in the time of thine anger. The Lord Yahweh shall swallow them up in his wrath, and the fire shall devour them. Their fruit shalt thou destroy from the earth, and their seed from among the children of men. For they intend evil against thee. They imagine a mischievous device, which they are not able to perform. And we have this ruling syndicate, faction, group. The Most High is going to make them as a fiery oven in the time of his anger, in the time of his judgment. The Lord shall swallow them up in his wrath. The Most High, when the Most High give that order and his wrath and his judgment come, they're going to be swallowed up. They're going to be consumed, overtaken. The fire is going to devour them. Their fruit shall the Most High destroy. They're not going to be able, there's going to be no more works of this group upon this earth, of the syndicate or faction upon this earth. Their seed are going to be taken from among the children of men. Why? For they intend a mischievous device. This group, these factors, these factions, and these syndicates, they imagine a mischievous device, and they're not able to perform it. Why? Because the Most High is going to upset, their hands, their craft, so that they cannot perform it. So that every time they intend to do something or to put out a specific edict, order, the Most High is going to upset it. He's going to make it where they can't perform it. It's going to be found out. The Most High is going to reveal it. But continuing. Salakia, 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. It says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Unless, Satan get an advantage of us, we're not ignorant to his devices. It's only, you have these different syndicates or groups or collective mindsets, who worship Satan. And they do the works of Satan. They do the works of the devil. And in this, behind closed doors and dark places, they make up, they come up with these plans, these devices, And through their lies, falsification of information, they can fool the people. They do fool the people. But when you're in the know and you're in an understanding of Yahweh Yahushua, you know and you understand. Again, 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11, lest Satan should get an advantage of you, for we are not ignorant of his devices. When you're in the know, when you're in the truth, when you're walking according to Yahweh Yahushua and he has lit your candle, we're not going to be ignorant to the devices of Satan. We're not going to be ignorant to these devices of these collective mindsets and or groups that devise mischievous, wicked devices upon the earth to apply to the people, to have their rule the way they want it. But continuing, this is Psalms chapter 10. I'm going to start at verse 7. It says, his mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. So his mouth is full of cursing. So their mouths are full of cursing, deceit, and fraud. They have no good intentions. This goes back to Psalms 55. Words being smoother than butter and softer than oil. But again, his tongue is mischief and vanity. They speak useless things. They speak of things that are truly out of their reach, that they will never ever be able to reach and or perform, because the Lord exposes it every time. You know, in these different factions, collective mindsets, groups, syndicates, sectors, they don't put forth the truth. It is what it is. And when you're reading the scriptures and you're being attuned and aligned to Yahweh Yahushua, you're not ignorant to the devices. You can see through the smoke screen. But continuing, I'm gonna read verse 7 again. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places doth he murder the innocent. His eyes are privately set against the poor. And you know, these syndicates, you know, they sit in the lurking places of the villages. They hide behind closed doors. They hide in the dark. They lurk in they lurk in, you know what I'm saying, in the secret places, in the dark places to murder the innocent, to murder the humble, the poor. Yasha Allah. His eyes are privately set against the poor. You know, their eyes are privately set against the poor. They want to eradicate Yasha Allah off of the planet. But the Most High is not going to allow his people to be destroyed that way. Even though, according to the scriptures, the Most High is going to deal with a very specific percentage of our people. He's going to destroy them, but they will be brought back in the kingdom. So the Most High is not going to make an utter end to Yasha Allah. But these syndicates, these sectors and factions, collective mindsets and groups, that's what they want to do. They want to get rid of us. But it's not going to happen, because the Lord said it's not going to happen. But continuing. He lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor when he draweth them into his lair. And that's what they do. They lie in wait. They hide. You know, these groups, they hide behind things. You know, they put something out in front as a distraction so that you cannot see what is going on behind the scenes. This is how these factions and sectors operate. You know, and they wait to catch the poor. They lie. They put out false information to get people to fall hook, line, and sinker for some BS on dry land. You know, like 2/3 of our people, they get took hook, line, and sinker on dry land. These syndicates, these factions, these sectors, when they put out information, Our people just believe it. They don't think to, they don't think to look through it. But according to the scriptures, only a small percentage of our people are going to be able to see through it. The rest of our people are going to be blinded. They're going to follow hook, line. They're going to follow suit. They're going to do the works of these factions, syndicates, and sectors, collective mindsets and groups. But continuing. Verse 2, he crouches and humbleth himself that the poor may fall by his strong ones. So he crouches and humbleth himself. They make it seem like, oh, we're here to help. But really and truly, no, they're here to destroy and to ruin and to oppress. And they use their collective forces to do their bidding. And they think nothing is going to happen. So in their mindsets, in their way of thinking, this is how they think. In verse 11, he hath said in his heart, Yahweh hath forgotten, he hideth his face, he will never see it. And they think in their hearts, these syndicates, these factions, these sectors, these collective mindsets, these groups, whatever words you want to use, have said in their heart, the Most High hideth his face, he does not see what's going on. I mean, the Most High don't see this. The Most High is not paying attention. That's just not true according to the scriptures. The Most High is going to deal. But, last point, it's Psalms chapter 64. Verse 8. It says, so they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. And that's what the Most High is doing right now. You have what they call whistleblowers, defectors that defect from the original plan, and they decide to come out and start talking about it and exposing the falsified information and the false information that they have been putting forth. And that's just that is just part of prophecy that their own will turn against them and speak against them. But for the most part, you have all these different factions, sectors, groups, collective mindsets, syndicates. They're just falsifiers of information. You cannot trust everything that they say. With that, Shalom.